All right, I have spent way too much time here at Mountain Crossings, but it's been fun. Good morning. It is 6:40 a.m. on my second to last full day hiking the Appalachian Trail. I am waiting for sunrise. I'm not really waiting, I'm already hiking. I'm anticipating the sunrise and several fun places that we're going to hit today. That last little view you saw was just next to this campsite on the next ridge from, or the next hill from where I camped last night. Great little spot up here. And now I'm gonna head back to the AT. Just a quick little branch trail here, but it was worth the turn. Alright, back on the AT. I've got about 4 miles to Neal Gap, which is an interesting place because that's where a huge percentage, or a good percentage, of northbounders actually end their journey. Before they start, almost. When we get there, I'll show you a couple of fun things. But until then, I'll just show you what I see that I think you might find of interest, or not. I had a really great, I don't want to say compliment, but I had a friend of mine, Bluebird. If you remember her hiking with me when I first started Virginia, so early September, which would have probably come out early October. Her mom actually watches my channel, so hi Bluebird's mom, and thank you for watching. And she just basically said that she feels like the channel is good for older people that are not in their 20s or 30s and kind of realistic in setting mileage and such as that. So I appreciate your input on that. And yeah, I've never really crushed miles, and that's okay. I've done a couple big days, but not as a regular thing, and I never meant to, so I'm glad you find it encouraging. This morning, I'm going to tell you another little story about why I decided I needed to hike this trail. Excuse me. I may or may not have already told you this, and I think I have in a few videos, but just for the sake of knowing that I'm almost done with trail and have kind of put an exclamation point on my hike, this is it. Here we go. When I turned 40, which was almost 9 years ago, I started having a lot of hip pain. I had been running and did a couple of races, and specifically my right hip started just hurting, and it was sharp, throbbing, achy pain that would, last for several days and maybe not all day, but it was there. So regardless, I ended up having my chiropractor take an x-ray of my hips, and what she found was enough to concern her, enough to send me to an orthopedic surgeon. Mind you, I was 40 years old. I walk into the surgeon's office and he looks at my x-rays and goes, yep, I'm going to be replacing your hips by the time you're 50. I'm like, okay, probably not. First of all, you know what? A surgeon's got to be arrogant maybe, but he was. So I decided he would not be the one replacing it if I did need it. But that also prompted me to look for alternative options. So about 2 weeks later, I was invited to a class in our church building, and Dave Selleck, who watches these videos with his wife Ann, he introduced me to the ketogenic diet. And so I started doing my own research and took on the habits of keto, which after a few short weeks on keto, my hip pain went away. Okay, so mind you, this was 9 years ago. Over that time, I have not been strict keto, and I actually learned about the carnivore diet in 2019, which actually about the end of 2018. Okay, I'm gonna stop and I'll catch up here when I stop again and can focus on the video and not on the walk trail. Hello, this is Editing Holly, catching back up to where I left off about carnivore and one of my additional reasons for why I was hiking. So, in 2019, I started the carnivore diet, which is very much limiting what you eat to animal and animal products. So I eat cheese, I eat meat, sausage, chicken. I don't do a ton of chicken because it doesn't leave me as full. I primarily do beef and venison, a lot of butter, and you've seen some of the foods that I've eaten. If you watch some of my earlier videos, I will be doing additional videos on carnivore and backpacking as I finish up on the AT and resume my hiking on the North Country Scenic Trail in Michigan. But carnivore basically reduced the inflammation in my body to the point where if I'm on carnivore, I don't have hip pain, I don't have shoulder pain. I ended up developing, while I was off carnivore in 2020, I developed a really severe skin rash on my neck. I'll put a picture of that in here. And that lasted for about, I think, 4 to 6 months before I realized, oh, if I go on carnivore, this should clear up. And it did. And since then, anytime I'm on carnivore, I don't have that autoimmune skin issue. And the joint inflammation is gone. So I'm very comfortable. So that is why I do carnivore. I am not a nutritionist in any way, shape, or form, but I follow people who are, and if that's something that you're interested in, I can point you in the right direction. I'll leave a couple links to Steak and Butter Gang because I am in their monthly membership. It's just kind of a way to keep me accountable. There's community, and we can network and talk and throw ideas out and ask questions and answer questions. And I also follow a couple of other people. If you're somebody who likes doctors, there's Dr. Sean Baker, Dr. Ken Berry, who else? There's just a plethora now of people out there who are doing carnivore or keto, or ketovore is another word for a combination of the two, but it's meat heavy generally. But that's one of the things that I have incorporated into my life. As I progressed, I started off really well on the trail with carnivore. As I progressed towards the end, I am totally back on sugar right now. Now I am home, actually, and I am struggling to get back on carnivore. I am claiming that I am no longer addicted to sugar. I am speaking the words forth that it no longer has control over my life. and I am getting back to a point where I'm eating primarily meat. So those are the words. Anyhow, that's what my carnivore journey to date has been about. And I'm happy to report that I'll be 50 in 1 year, and I am in better shape now, and I'm also in less pain now than I was when I was 40. So this just goes to tell you, surgery is not always the answer. Oftentimes food, majority of the time, food is our problem or our solution, and our solution. Drugs aren't necessarily always needed, nor is a surgical procedure. And doctors aren't necessarily trained in nutrition, so there's that. All right, that's enough on the subject. I am signing off. Thank you for listening. As you're heading southbound into Neal's Gap, you come across a couple of sheds to my right, which I'm not going to show you, a picnic table, and then some buildings. These are actually, I believe, rentable cabins that you can stay in. Nope, I'm wrong. I believe this is the actual Mountain Crossings building. Somewhere in this vicinity there are cabins that you can rent, and I believe a hostel in the basement I also read. So this is the only spot on trail where you actually go through a building. Ooh, some firewood. Bathrooms are closed, unfortunately. And then you come up to the famous tree where all the shoes are thrown. I don't know if you can tell. In yesterday's video, I actually threw my old shoes into the tree at Hostel Around the Bend. Now I am here before they are open, but I do want to show you around real quick. This is the building. They are closed until I believe 9 a.m. But that is the building, Mountain Crossings. It is an outfitter and gift shop. Hey, Orange Kitty. Meow. Look how pretty you are. He's a funny one. Oh. All right. I am here about 30 minutes before they open. I was not going to stop and wait. I was just going to keep going, but I've changed my mind. So I'm sitting out here on their patio just enjoying the sunshine and the view. All right, I have spent way too much time here at Mountain Crossings, but it's been fun. We've been chit-chatting, and of course I had to add some more snacks to my bag. But here we go, across the street. And I'm not even walking in the crosswalk, but that's all right. Don't tell. That's because I knew a car was coming. Entering the Blood Mountain Wilderness in the Chattahoochee National Forest. That is a pretty impressive balancing act. Really cool. That is neat. All right, I've made it partway up the climb to Blood Mountain. It's been pretty dang easy so far. I just ran into a group of 3 section hiker guys, and they warned me of a homeless man living at one of the shelters. So luckily it's not one I was planning on staying at, just stopping to get water. So they said he's not aggressive, but he is carrying a big knife. So we'll see if we need to stop for water or keep going. Good little tenting spots up here. All right, catch you down trail. Now we're getting into the serious part. Climbing, climbing, climbing. But they've got steps, which are helpful. Some of them are a little too wide for these short legs, but we make it work. So I have to say, I have not hated this climb up to Blood Mountain. There's been lots of slab walking like this, some boulder climbing, and the path has just been kind of, I hate saying kind of fun on an uphill, but it has. It's reminded me a little bit of the north. Gotta say it once again. Hi everybody. That's my friendly shadow, keeps me company. All right, bring you back when we get up to the top. Praise be to the Lord, for he has heard my cry for mercy. The Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusts in him, and I am helped. My heart leaps for joy, and I will give thanks to him in song. The Lord is the strength of his people, a fortress of salvation for his anointed one. Save your people and bless your inheritance. Be their shepherd and carry them forever. Psalm 28, 6 through 9. This is the Blood Mountain shelter. The AT, I believe, goes down that way. We're going to climb up on that rock in a minute. It's kind of a creepy shelter, truthfully. I don't think many people actually stay here. I've seen a couple videos where there's tents set up in here. I think it would be a last resort. Hello. Not a bad spot to rest. I have arrived at Jared Gap. This is the outer edge of the area where you cannot camp between Blood Mountain, actually it's a little north of there, Neil Gap to Jared Gap. And you cannot camp there unless you have a bear canister. So I'm just kind of at the southern edge of that. I am obviously not camping, but I am taking a break for a couple minutes, and here's what I see. There's the sign. There's a road that goes down there. AT goes up that way. And there's a little campfire pit. AT is right here. So some good tenting if you want to carry a bear canister. I have made it to Woody Gap, where I am taking another little break. This is a big parking lot. There's spots over there on that side of the road. And then there is a parking lot over here. There are bear-proof garbage cans, so you can dump your stuff there. There is a bathroom, but it's pretty nasty. And then I am seated at a picnic table. I'm going to eat a few snacks, and then I've got another climb up. So I'll make that. And then I think I've got about 5 miles still to my desired shelter, which is Gooch Mountain Shelter. And that is where I'm planning to tent tonight. And I think it's going to be my last night in the tent. So we'll see how that pans out. But I'm going to go ahead and eat and get moving. I tented here at the Gooch Mountain Shelter. Spreadsheet and his son Peter were there, as well as Goldfish, and a father and his 3 children, or adult children. And this was the very last time I stayed at a shelter area on the Appalachian Trail.